Hello everyone, welcome to a coding video. This is going to be an introduction to HTML and CSS. This is going to be like an ongoing sort of thing. It's going to be in conjunction with the C++ that I'm currently doing, but this is kind of going to be in the background. We're going to do an introduction class where we're just going to go over everything that's involved in HTML and CSS to try and get our feet wet. Then we're going to do like an intermediate sort of project, and that one we're going to build a website, and we're going to do more advanced CSS, probably throw in some JavaScript, and then after that's done we're going to do advanced web design and development, and then that one we're going to throw in some PHP, and we will probably do some other sorts of APIs that are ran on the Node.js backbone, such as Suzy or Breakpoint. Maybe some other things. We might go over some JSON, jQuery, but we're definitely going to throw in some PHP and probably some SQL. Towards at the end of that, we'll do a project with it too. And so this way you can see the development process that goes involved in sort of an intermediate sort of web development and design page, and then an advanced one. And so there's a lot that's going to be covered in the intermediate and advanced courses, but this one right here is just going to be, we're just going to go over the basics of HTML and CSS. And so we're going to start with HTML first, and we're going to move on to CSS. So let's get started. So right here on the screen, I'm using Text Wrangler. This is on a Mac, and this is the one that I use. There's also other good ones such as PHP Storm, or you can also use Xcode. It doesn't matter, whichever text editor fits your fancy. And so, as you can see over here, it's going to be intro.html. It does have to have an HTML file name for it to show up on a web page. And then we're going to be looking at it in Mozilla Firefox. So let's get started. So here we are, we have our doctype.html file and our closing HTML file. And then you have your body, which is right here. Your opening and closing tags. These are called tags. And then you've got your head, which is where you're going to link stuff. You can do meta, and you can also do on the page styling. Instead of linking a page, you can just do it on this page. But I'll show you how to do both of them. And then you've got your header and your footer, which is like it is in Microsoft Word. So the first tag we're going to go over is an H1 tag, which is a heading tag. So we're going to do intro to HTML, and you have to close it, and you just do a \H1. Headings go from H1 through H6, H1 being the biggest, H6 being the smallest. So that's a heading tag. Then we'll do paragraph. And to do a paragraph, you just do a P inside of two brackets, angle brackets is what they're called in HTML. And you can just start typing in wherever you want to. Say this is an intro course to HTML. Then you close it up. And if you want to, you can go through and add another one. And you can say, we will do CSS shortly. And you close it up with a P. It's just like that. And if we save it with Command S on Mac or Control S on PC, then you're fine. I hit F5 to refresh, and as you can see, whenever you throw in a paragraph tag, it does put this it does give you some space at the bottom. It gives you some space, so it's kind of like its own little block. And so it really adds to more of a markup, and that's what HTML is. It's hypertext markup language. So you can actually do more markup with it if you use P tags. So if we go back to our text editor, there's another tag that's very important along with the P tags, and that is a list tag. Lists are highly used in HTML, and that if you've ever seen a drop-down menu or a menu of any sort, it's probably handled by a list. You can also handle it with JavaScript and stuff, but it's probably handled by a list in CSS, more than likely. So if we take a look at it, we'll just start doing lists. And the first one we're going to do is unordered. So you start with a UL. You close it up. This is how I like to do it. This is my personal preference. I like to do the opening tag and the closing tag at the same time. And then just put in a little bit of space and indent. Makes it easier to read. And that way you don't have to worry about closing tags all the time. And so then you do an LI, which stands for list item. And you can just put whatever you want to in here. So you can do PC, close it up, Mac, close it up, and of course we'll throw in Linux, because why not? And that right there is the unordered list. So we'll save it and we'll take a look at it. Hit F5. As you can see, it puts bulletin points, so it's unordered. And it's just a good way to use it. Like I said, it's mostly used in menu systems, or that's how I use it. You can use it any way you want to. And so if we switch back, we'll go over the next list item, which is an ordered list. And so this one is really good for giving instructions or directions or whatever if you need it to be procedural. And I teach children, middle school and high school students, how to write computer code. And whenever teaching them how to do procedures, this is a good one to do it with in HTML. So you do your first one, and we'll say the first thing we need to do is we need a text editor. Okay. And then we need an idea. Actually, you probably need an idea first, but it's whatever. Okay. And then we need the knowledge. And then we need to get coding. Okay, and close it up with an LI. We'll save it. We'll go back. As you can see, it numbers it. So it's very procedural. It's a good way for doing directions or recipes or something that needs to be procedural in nature. And the last list item that we're going to look at is called a dictionary list. So you do a DL, then you close it with DL. Okay, so that stands for dictionary list. And this actually has 3 elements to it. And then you have a dictionary term. So for a dictionary term, we'll just do Microsoft. And we'll close it up, dictionary term. And then we will do indent some more, do DD, which stands for dictionary definition. And we'll say a software company started by Bill Gates. Okay, then you close it up with your \DD. Okay, and then we'll hit F5, and then there you go. So it looks just like it would in the dictionary. It indents it on its own for the dictionary definition. So we'll go back, and we'll take a look at a couple more tags. And so this is very somewhat monotonous for HTML. Just starting out, it is like this, but once we get into CSS, it'll start to pick up and probably get a little bit more interesting. But we do need this right here to be the backbone if you're wanting to learn this from the ground up. So the next thing we're going to do is an image tag. So you do an opening bracket, you do IMG, then you need source or SRC is equal to quotation marks, and the name of the picture is index.jpg on my desktop. And both of these are saved on the desktop, so I don't have to put in a path. But if they were saved in different folders, I would. And you do Alt, which is going to say what it is in case the picture doesn't show up. And I'm just going to say computer. And then we'll close it up like this. That's our image tag. We'll go back, we'll look at it, and we have a picture of a computer. Not bad. It's not very hard. It's actually quite simple. And so the next tag we're going to look at is called an anchor tag. And anchor tags is exactly what it is. It's an anchor, which is what we call hyperreference. So you do RHF is equal to, we'll say dub. And in this, you usually do have to put the entire web page. If you're linking to something off-site, that's off of your own site, a different page, you're fine. So do HTTP, blah, blah, blah. That's not right. We'll just do google.com. Close it up. like this. And then we'll say Google, and then you have to close the anchor tag like so. We'll take a look at it. F5, look, we got Google down here. And it goes straight to it. So that is an anchor tag, and as you can see though, we've got a little bit of issue. Usually it should go over here, but HTML does not handle formatting, so it's actually pushed over to give space for the padding and the margin of this image right here. And we'll look at how to handle that in a little bit. So that right there is a lot of the main tags that we're going to use for right now for this intro. There's other tags such as forms that are used, and then a big tag, of course, is going to be a div. Now, div tags are handled for formatting, and what it does is it increases, or it actually applies a division in the web page. And so it's pretty simple to handle. We'll just do a div right here, and we'll do a closing div right here. And we'll take a look at it, and we'll see. It should have handled our Google problem. As you can see, it puts a division. So it's like nothing can go, it puts space actually is what it does. And it handles formatting, and it's how we would do it with CSS. So these are the main HTML tags that you will probably use when creating a web page. And you might be thinking, well, you mean the main ones? There's got to be tons of tags. Well, there are. There's a ton of tags. But these are like the main ones, and it gives a good grasp because mostly you're going to be doing lists, you're going to be doing paragraphs, divs, images, and hyper references. So this right here is the main tags. So let's get started looking at a little bit of CSS, and this will just be like an intro to it. So for this one, we're going to do, you go up to actually your head, not your header. You go up to head, and you type in style, like so, and then you close the style tag. Okay, so that right there is going to tell the browser, hey, there's style that needs to be applied to this web page, and that's what it's looking for. So the first thing we're going to style is we're going to style the body. We're going to give it a little bit of color. So you just type in body, then you're going to do an opening and closing bracket. Then you're going to say background color. Alright, then you're going to do a colon, not a semicolon, but a full colon. Alright, and if you want to use hexadecimal, you can. Most modern browsers, though, you can just tell it a color. But if you really want to get into it with giving your own colors, then you really need to know hexadecimal, which is easy to look up. There's tons of hexadecimal guides and color wheels. So for this one, I'm just going to do hexadecimal, and let's say we want it to be, what color do we want it to be? We'll say we want it to be a little bit of green. Yeah, we'll give it a green color. So we'll say 33FF33, semicolon. Save it. We'll take a look at it. As you can see, it's green. And in hexadecimal, it's 6 numbers and 6 letters, and it goes red, green, blue. So it's an RGB. And so we want it to be green. So there we go. Well, what if we don't want our text to be black though? Then we just do, you can do it like this. You can do color. I think, I really don't do it like this, but it's whatever. Do color. We'll say we want it to be white. And you can actually just do 3 Fs. Save it. There you go. And that right there just handles the text part of it. It handles the text color that's in the body. And so that right there is how you would handle body colors. Well, what if you don't want to style your header tag or your heading? Well, you just go in here and you just type in H1. Then you give some opening and closing brackets. Let's say, what would be a good color to go with this? I'm not really a color man. I do development, not design. But let's say we don't want it to be that. What if we want it to be blue? Well, you can just type in blue. And it's blue. Biggity boom. And so that's for the H1. Well, what if you want it to be bold? Or italic? Or you want it to be big, small? You can do text, size. You can even do like 5% if you want to get real wild with it. It's not going to do anything, but it's whatever. Text size, 600%. It's not going to work. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done actual text sizing. But anyway, that's how you would do it. It's text something. So that's for H1 if you want to do colors. If you want to do, if you don't want to have list items, so you can just go to UL like this, and it's going to affect all the list items inside of a UL. So you can do UL, you can do text, decoration, none. That's not going to work because it's not right. It's actually list dash style dash top none. There you go. It's list style top none, like that. And that takes away all of the styles for, or the style type for the UL. Well, what if you want to do LI? So if you just went in and you did LI, and you did list dash style dash type, and you did none, it's going to take away everything that's part of a list item that has an LI tag. It's going to take it away, and that's because CSS stands for cascading style sheet. So whatever is the farthest down is going to have precedence over whatever's above it. So if you still want to keep that, do it like this, and hopefully not mess up what you're doing, and go back, and there you go, biggity boom. Okay, so what else can we do? Well, a handy thing to do in styling is you do ID is equal to, and we'll give it an ID of image. And so that gives that div an ID. So we'll say image. But actually you have to do it with an hashtag image, like this. And this handles IDs. So you can do hashtag image, and let's say we want it to float, which means that it's going to either be left, in the middle, or right. Actually, I think it's just left and right. You can do float right, and it's going to go all the way over there. It's going to go all the way to the right. But it pushes our Google up because it's not set with a certain position. Okay, so well, if you want to handle size, well, let's say you want it to be width. You can actually do, there's different sizes. You can do percentages, pixels, EMs, whatever. We'll say width, we want it to be 100 pixels, or px. We want it to be height of 100 pixels. As you can see, it actually didn't change the size of the image. And the reason for that is because it's showing a box around the div. And if I was to do border, and then you do like this, you can do 1 pixel black solid, and it should show a border around it. As you can see, it does have a border around that div tag. There's 1 pixel that's black and it's solid around the div tag right there. And that's a good way to see what you're doing, so you can put pixels around the divs that you're working with. So next thing we're going to work with is we're going to do a class. And so we'll give this a class is equal to, we'll just say list, and we'll give 2 of them. And we'll say class is equal to list. Then we'll go up here, and to handle list you do period, or to handle classes you do period, then the name of the class. Do it like this. Do list. And let's say we want them to be red. So let's say color red. And there you go. And it's going to handle those 2 because of class. So a class affects multiple items, while an ID is just used for 1. And if we want to handle our anchor link, we just do A, And we can do, this one is where you do text decoration. None. And let's say we want it not to be blue like it is. We want it to be black. Like this. As you can see, it takes away the underline and it makes the hyperlink black. So that's sort of the a very intro to HTML and CSS. So in the next video, we're going to go over some more CSS, and we'll kind of get a little bit wonky with it and do some more things with it. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you, and hopefully the videos from now on will be more exciting. Thanks for watching.